My name is Lisa Wilson, and I am the Farm to School Coordinator.
I'm Sarah Keene. I'm the Director of Food Service in the Schuylerville Central School District.
Megan Wilkins, and I'm the Food Service Director for Argyle Central School.
Farm to School is a program that we run at CFC where we deliver local New York State products to schools in 18 districts in the Tri-County area, including Warren, Washington, and Saratoga counties. We focus primarily on New York State product, and the goal is to increase the amount of local product served on school menus for school districts that are interested.
To me, Farm to School means it's a local product. I don't want Washington State, I don't want the West Coast to feed New York when we have so many farms right here. So to me, Farm to School is bringing products from local farms, especially smaller farms, right onto students' trays. The Schuylerville School District has a deep history of Farm to School. This is my 10th year here, and even before I came, they were already sourcing local apples, local eggs, a lot of local produce when it was seasonally available. But over the last few years, we've really been able to step that up, in large part because of the New York State 30% Initiative Program. So our school district receives additional funding for every meal that we serve at lunchtime if we can show that we've spent 30% of our food budget on local foods from within New York State. And so that additional money has been amazing for our program to really ramp this up. So at this point, we're purchasing local beef, local apples, a lot of local produce when it's available. Obviously, we're not buying a lot of local greens in the middle of January because we're limited by the growing season in New York. But a lot of our root crops like carrots and potatoes, of course our apples and some of our pears, peaches when it's warmer. All of our milk is always grown from New York State.
We do some frozen stuff. We do a lot of juices, apple sauces, things that are processed. I do a baked potato day, so our potatoes are always from a local vendor. We do a lot of meats. So I'll do ground beef. I do burgers, sausage. We do, whenever we can get some extra fun produce, when we do a veggie week, we'll do that kind of stuff.
The biggest selling products that we carry are applesauce and apples. So we obviously are a huge apple producing state in New York, and it's a very easy product to attain for schools, and they're going to buy them anyway, so they might as well buy local New York State apples. And some of those apples get turned into applesauce, and that's a really convenient way to bring it back to the kids. We also sell New York State juice and a product called Slush, which is a frozen juice product, and IQF vegetables, which are individually quality frozen vegetables that are processed fresh and frozen to be stored and used throughout the school year. So those are some of our biggest items. We also sell local produce from farmers all over the area, and local meat when schools can afford it or have a special interest in local meat products.
I could talk forever about why Farm to School is important to me. There's so many reasons. One is obviously our environmental impact as an institution. So one of the big things that we can do is to decide to buy local products, so that rather than trucking food from the West Coast, from Florida, by prioritizing local products, they're fresher, they have a greater nutrition value for our students because they haven't been sitting on a distributor's shelf for sometimes several weeks. And so that nutritional integrity is retained. And also we're looking at our carbon footprint by buying more local products that are not traveling such a great distance to get to our school and onto our students' plates. I think for me, the number one reason though is I want to support a local economy. I want to support our farmers. We are a farming community right here in Schuylerville. A lot of our students grow up on farms. They have family farms. I drive by them every day on the way into work. I smell them on my way into work. And it's just a reminder of how many people's livelihood in our community right here in town, in our county, and throughout the state are based in farming. And so whenever I can buy a local product, whenever it's financially feasible, whenever I can actually get it in my front door, I always try to choose a local product because I want my tax dollars, our community's tax dollars, to stay in New York and to stay with our local farmers and to keep their businesses growing, and not just growing, but thriving and bringing those local foods onto students' plates.
I think one of the biggest impacts that our program has is that we fit into this niche in the market that our food service directors don't always have the time or the capacity to source the local products themselves. And so we do that part for them. We go out and find producers and sellers who have these products that they might want, and we bring them here in an aggregated form so that it's easier for schools to order and acquire the things they're looking for. So typically they're buying from us when they can't do it themselves, or there are limiting factors like order size or order minimums. Schools can't store as much product as we can, and so we're a centralized location for them to be able to acquire the goods that they're looking for on the New York State product front. And I think hearing back from the food service directors that we fill that niche really well for them, and that they're not able to get these products without our help, really is lovely to hear. And I think it exemplifies why we exist and why we have this program.
We're a really small town, so when it comes to vendors, they won't deliver here. A lot of our schools, Salem, Granville, Argyle, even Schuylerville, a bigger school, like we can't get the product that we want for our kids without a third party. Now that CFC is involved, it's amazing. We can't do what we do without our partnership.
Comfort food community is really the reason that so much of this is possible. The Schuylerville School District is a pretty small district. We have less than 1,400 students enrolled right now. And so a lot of distributors won't drive to my back door and deliver their product. It just doesn't make economic sense for them. And a lot of our distributors won't carry some of these hyper-local products. For example, US Foods, one of our primary distributors, isn't going to go pick up lettuce from a farm 45 miles away and bring it to my front door. And so that's where Comfort Food comes in. So a lot of those hyper-local products can get delivered from the farm to my front door all in one shipment. And it's amazing.
Food is something that everyone needs, and students often don't realize how connected they can be or are to their food system. And so by giving them access to products they might not have tried before, or they aren't aware are grown in their area, they become connected to the greater food system earlier on and can start to make better choices as they move through life, or more informed choices at least.
There's kids that when we put out certain vegetables or fruits, cantaloupe or strawberries or something, they're so excited. They've never even had it before. There's fruits and vegetables that we do that they're like, ooh, what is that? So sometimes I'll just get a little something, play around with it to give them something different to try.
I think one of the big wins for students is when we can get them to try something new. And a lot of times with local, that's when you can do it. So like our carrots are usually orange baby carrots, but when we buy local carrots, we can get different colors, different variety, like your purples and your yellows, your whites, things that they may not see in a grocery store. And so for me, that's a cool opportunity to get them to try something that's not just local, but maybe a little different, a little outside their comfort zone. So today in the elementary school in our district, we just served kale chips. So we had local kale, and it's a food that a lot of kids have probably never tried. They might be a little intimidated by it, but when you lightly coat it in some oil and put a little seasoning on, bake it up, it's nice and crunchy. A lot of the kids actually really like it once they try it. So bringing in these local foods is a way for me to get them to maybe go outside their comfort zone, try something a little bit different, and maybe get excited about a food they haven't had before.
Just trying new things and knowing that it's local, I think that it's full circle.
In my dreams, everything that we serve would be local, everything. I know it's not possible. Again, we have a very limited growing season here in New York. But my hopes and dreams are that whenever something is available local, we're serving that local product. Because I really don't want the West Coast to be feeding New York State. I want to support our farmers if we can grow something, and if we do grow something here, I think it should be ending up on a student's tray. So that's really what I'd love to see at the end of the day. Totally New York trays all the time.
Honestly, anything that I can get, I try to get for our kids.
Farm to School is truly a community effort, and it touches many pieces of the food system, and I think it's a really special way to tie many facets of what CFC does together. And we couldn't do it without food service directors, we couldn't do it without the students and the farmers, and it's a very cool way to work together.
Some people think it's hard to purchase and to use local produce, but it's possible. Even if, I always say, like, if Little Argyle can do it, you can too. And I really think that CFC, they are the key to why we can do what we do. So I'm really thankful for them, and I want to shout it as best as I can and say thank you.